Hi everyone, I am Johnnyman and welcome back to another episode of Stoneblock 2 where we're exploring this wonderful world, modded Minecraft, lots of crazy stuff going on. And yeah, I think we're just going to dive right in and I got a lot of cool stuff to show you. So if you caught my last episode, which is actually a live stream, we were dealing with the chickens. So let's go take a look at the chickens. We were working through the chicken quest tree and trying to get some of the different chickens to hatch. Hey, they hatched. Good. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, I got distracted by the green chickens. Yeah. So we had done some different chickens. So we had like a log chicken and a sand chicken and blue chicken and all that kind of fun stuff. And if we look at the chicken quest tree, you'll see that. So we had done a lapis blue chicken, and we had a log chicken, and we eventually finally got those guys to breed, and they made a snowball chicken. So now we've got snowball chicken and a sand chicken, and we're waiting for a clay chicken. And if you remember too, before I was coloring the eggs. Don't know why I did this. I was so silly. We'd colored the eggs, and we were taking a chance for throwing the egg to get a red chicken. Well, what I didn't realize that I could just put the red egg in a nest and wait for it to hatch, and that's what I've done with the green chickens here. I had made up a couple green chicken eggs, put them in the nest, and just let them do their thing. So now we have some green chickens. So we can actually complete that quest, I think, if I go get my trusty chicken wand. I'm putting all the extra chickens that we have there. Okay, let's grab the chicken wand, and we will go up and see if I can pick up one of these baby green chickens. Whoops. All right, let's see. Can I pick up? Nope. Doesn't look like I can pick up the baby chickens. Okay, so I have to wait for them to be older. Fair enough. Okay, we'll wait for that to happen. Yeah, so in here, what have we got? Yes, so this is where we have a sand and a snowball. And we have another sand and a snowball. And as you see, they just keep making versions of themselves. That's fine, because for those guys, the sand and the snowball, we're waiting for a clay chicken. But what I've also been doing is playing around with the machines. And yeah, I finally figured out a bunch of stuff, which I'm going to show you, which is really, really cool. If you remember, I had the water coming down here, and we had the water turning this paddle, which was then shaking in the sifter, and it was okay. It was just really, really slow. It was actually faster to do it by hand, just by putting it in here and clicking. Now, again, the sifter might give us more materials when it ejects it, but it was just so slow. If you remember, we'd gotten some free machines, right? And so I'll talk about those in just a second. So I think in the last one too, we had made this stone barrel. We needed to make this because this is going to let us make netherrack, because we have no real nether. Like, if you remember, this area that we've in, we teleported from the first section, and so this is actually the nether, but there's no netherrack, and we need that netherrack for a bunch of recipes. But what we figured out was, by creating this stone barrel, we can create netherrack, because if we fill it up with lava, and we go over here, I just realized I don't think I have any on me. Let's grab some redstone. If we take a stone barrel full of lava, we take the redstone, boom, there we go. We now have a piece of netherrack. This gives us something that we can do all the time, and it gives us a biome marker. Not 100%, I haven't clicked on it, not sure what that means. Gonna kind of leave that just for a little bit, right? But what I did figure out, and if you notice, I did move this crucible. It was over here over a torch, and the torch only worked so fast, but I found out that if you put it over something like a lava source, so just put a lava block down there and put this over top, it'll generate lava a lot faster, which is very, very handy. So we can load it up with cobblestone, and it'll slowly cook away, and you see the rate is at 3 times compared to the torch, which I think was like 1 time. So this is going really good. But I started playing around, and I figured, okay, it would be kind of cool if I didn't have to keep doing this. And maybe I'm going to need a bunch of netherrack. And how can we do this? Well, if you'll remember, we got a cobblestone generator. Okay, so that's great. This is going to generate the cobblestone we need. Perfect. But how? I'm just going to grab these things because I was doing some looking. These transfer types and these transfer nodes, and I'll explain those in just a second. But so how do we get the cobblestone from the cobblestone generator into here? So in regular Minecraft, one way of doing this would be through hoppers. So I could probably put a hopper. Actually, I haven't even tried that. So let's actually try that. Where do we have the hoppers? There we go. So I'm curious to see if we can do, oh, I didn't put the chicken stick away. Oh, darn it. Okay, that's fine. So in old school Minecraft, if we put a hopper and we had the hopper going into, so it's pointing in there. And if we put this up here, there we go. So see, yep. So the hopper is pulling the cobblestone out of the generator and it's putting it into here. So it'll just keep doing that. So every time this needs cobblestone, it'll pull the cobblestone out. Because if we look at the hopper, it's filling up with cobblestone. But this is extended Minecraft, right? And so what if say, that didn't work out for a good spot. Let's just say, sorry, trying to move you. Let's say you need the cobblestone generator right there for whatever reason. How are you going to get the cobblestone over here? Well, you could try to get hoppers going from hopper to hopper and all that. And that might work, but that's a lot of effort. Well, what have we got? So we've got transfer pipes and we have transfer nodes. And so these kind of combine to be like a hopper, but you can make the hopper go distances. And because the cobblestone is an item, we have to use the transfer node item. So what we end up doing is, if you put this on the side, so now that will start to suck up the cobblestone. You see the cobblestone starting to go in there. And if we start moving the pipes, we'd say, okay, let's string some pipes here, here, and here. And now you're going to find, look at that, it transfers it all the way over here. So you can make up a piping network and string things all over the place, which is so cool. So if we take this fluid, now we have a fluid node, and we take these pipes and we go, let's go here. Now, whenever this has, boom, it fills up. All right, we're getting there. This is good. Let's put a chest right there. And in that chest, we're going to put redstone. Perfect. Now, we want to get, sorry, torch. Let's put you up here and here. We want to get the redstone from here and add it in to the crucible. How would we do that? Well, same sort of way. We get an item transfer node. We put it on the side, and then we can take transfer pipe and connect it up. There we go. So now anytime it just did it. So it's taken, if you see, it's taking the redstone out of the chest, it's putting it into the transfer node, and the transfer node just sends it down through there. And since it can't go backwards into that, it comes right back down into the netherrack, or into what was the lava, and creates netherrack. And let's say we just put the chest here. And then if we say, well, we want to transfer the netherrack, so that's items. And if we say we put that on there, now it's transferred the netherrack in there, but we need to get the netherrack into the chest. And now if we look at our chest, there's a netherrack. So now we've got an automated system. This will make the lava, or this will feed the cobblestone in and make the lava. When the lava fills up, it'll transfer the lava into here. And when this fills up enough, and it can react for a piece of redstone will plop down, make a piece of netherrack, and then this will pick up the netherrack and move it to the chest. So now I can just walk away and I can let this whole system create netherrack. Which is so cool. This is so cool. I love this. I can't, there's so many other things I can just imagine doing stuff with this. So I had to show you this. This was really, really cool. Now, if you remember some of our rewards, we got some other machines. Remember, we got a simple sag mill. Okay, there's other machines in there, and I'm going to explain all that in just a moment. So we got a simple sag mill here. And what this does is when this is powered, it will take a piece of stuff. So let's say we put cobblestone in there. It'll slowly grind away the cobblestone, and you'll get different stuff out of it. Sometimes you might get the gravel, you might get flint, you might get something else, whatever. So whatever that can break down into, it'll slowly grind away at it. Well, you could put other things in there too, like gravel, and the gravel will come out with sand and all that kind of stuff. Or you can put sand and you'll get dust and all that. So it'll do kind of what the sifter does, but a little slower, but kind of on its own, and you get a little bit more out of it. Well, this is great, so fine, okay, if we put cobblestone in, you'll see nothing's going on, because you see it says out of power, there's no power. So what you can see is this needs power to actually operate. Well, how do we get power? Well, this is the other thing. If you look at what's in here with all these mod packs, there's it's kind of a crude way of thinking of it. There's two different types of power. There's kind of a global power, which they call grid power. And then there's an actual machine power, which is your redstone, your RF, or your redstone flux. I forget if that what it's called. I think it's called that. Anyway, so there's like a redstone power. And so this needs RF to run. So it's like, it needs electricity. Think of it that way. Well, we have no way of generating electricity. So I had to try to figure out, well, how do we power these things? One of the ways to create power is mills. Well, you have these, there's a fire mill, there's a windmill, there's a water mill, and a lava mill. And if you look at some of these things, you'll see that they generate a GP, kind of it's the grid power, or they think it's like the global power. This generates global power. And now that's not the power we need for the mill, or for the sag mill. We have this water mill. Okay, well, how do you make a water mill? Because you put this near running water, which we could easily create, it'll generate GP, or global power, which is what we need as the first stage. Well, you need these stone burnt blocks. And one way of getting the stone burnt blocks is having a stone burnt chicken. Well, stone burnt chicken is so far down the chicken tree, it's not possible. So chicken drops, again, all the chicken stuff. No. But what another way of doing it is if you take polished stone, you put it in this thing called a resonator, it'll create stone burnt, but it needs GPs. So this thing runs on grid power. Great. Okay. Well, how do I make this? Okay, well, block of coal, which I can make. Redstone I have. Little resonating crystals I have too. We've been finding those when we mine redstone. And iron. So I can make the resonator. Perfect. So I made a resonator. Let's just plunk the resonator there. To use this, you need 8 grid power. And you're creating no grid power right now. Well, I can't make those water generators because I need this to make the pieces to make the water generator. So what do I do? Well, as it turns out, I could make a manual mill. And I'm just going to plunk it on top here because it's kind of funny. So the manual mill, I have to hit it. But when I hit it, you'll see that if I keep hitting it, it'll do it on its own. I can generate up to 15 grid power or global power. And once it reaches that 8, you'll see it drops down because my little guy here used 8 of it to create a stone burnt block. Right? And the minute I move away from this, it stops spinning. So I keep going. If you see, it'll go up to 8 and it'll drop down. So 6, 7, 8. And then boom, it drops down. Because this used up 8 of it to create another stone burnt block. So that's what I did to create a bunch of stone burnt blocks. All right, so over here, if you'll see, I've got a bunch of running water. And what I did is it's spaced out just so that on each of the sand blocks is a water block. And that's making the water run off. So if I put these down, you'll see that now that one little thing, because it's by running water over here and running water over here, I'm making 16 grid power. And now I can make 32, 48, and 64. So with these, and the grid power doesn't have to be connected to anything. It's kind of all encompassing. So I'm making a lot of grid power. So now you'll find that if I were to put, I put them away. If I put the polished stone in here, it's just going to work on its own. And it's just going to keep taking the grid power that it needs because we have 64 at our disposal. But how do you power the sag mill? How do we get this going? Well, what you can do is there's a thing called the survival generator. So we pop that down. So this survival generator needs grid power to run. Well, now we've got lots of grid power. So with the grid power, this can now run. And what this does, We can put anything in here. We can put coal, we can put wood, we can put wool, whatever, anything, stuff that will burn, we can put in here. And as it burns, each item will have a certain thing. So if we look at this piece of coal, it says generates 80,000 RF, so redstone flux, at 5 RF a tick. That's a Minecraft tick. So that'll burn for a long time, generating electricity basically. And because this is right next to it, it's going to feed electricity into this. So if we take a piece of coal, we put that in there. Now it's generating RF. We come in here, we'll see this is building up RF, and we have stuff in here. And now you can hear the machine working. And you'll see 75 cents. So it gives you the percentage of what it's done. So we'll let it grind away. And it just keeps on going. And so see, that grounded away and made gravel. One of the other machines that we got an induction smelter. So if we put it next to our power source, it will then start accumulating power. Well, what the induction smelter does, and this is really, really cool. Oh, and you see we're done because oh no, we're still going. Okay, I thought it was all done out of power. What the induction smelter does, and this is very, very cool. Let's just take something. So if we take some gold ore, I'll just take a couple pieces for now, and I need some sand. Why do you need these things? Well, what the induction smelter will do. Now, think of it like a furnace, but for metals. So normally you put the gold into a furnace and you get a gold block. What the induction smelter does is if you give it sand and give it a gold block, and you can hear it humming in the background. So it uses some of the, it's taking some of the power from this, and eventually will run out. But what it's going to do is it's going to turn this into gold. But what it does is it doubles it with the sand. So instead of getting 1 gold bar, I'll get 2. All right, let's check our machinery. How are we doing here? And there you go. There's our 2 gold ingots. I think that's pretty cool. There's a lot more stuff that we could get into then. There's a way to make power lines, kind of like what we did with these transfer tubes, but so that you could have your power source somewhere else and you could have lines going around. Because right now, this could only power things that I can put around it. And there's probably more machines that we haven't looked at, that I haven't figured out what they do, that we could help with. But right now I'm just kind of sticking with what we've been given for the quests and things like that. So yeah, figuring out the power lines would be another thing, but I'm not too concerned until I actually have to do that. Let's put the chicken one away, and then let's actually claim a bunch of our rewards. So we'll put the chickens up there, the chicken wand up there. There we go. Oh, we have some apples. Pick those up. Perfect. All right. I wonder what special stuff we're getting for all the rewards we've done. Let's check it out and see what we got. So on the chicken tree, so snowball chicken, what do we get? We got another torch launcher. Well, I think that's 3 torch launchers we've gotten so far. Oh, so now we have a simple alloy smelter. Okay, so a new machine. Very cool. And 2 times mechanical crafter. Okay, more machinery. I'm gonna have to figure out what they do. So let's just kind of put those up there for now, so I know to come back and take a look at those. We'll go into the tools. We've got torch wands. Very cool. Oh, and I think we actually still have a quest. We do. We have a quest over here for making the fluid, the stone barrel. Sorry. Hey, we got another party pickaxe. Perfect. I love these party pickaxes. I don't mind having more of those. That's awesome. All right. I know that wasn't too exciting of an episode, but I really wanted to go over some of this cool machinery because I think this stuff is just fascinating. It just adds so much. How are we doing here? Look at that. Yeah, it just adds so much to Minecraft. It is so cool. And like I say, there are no end of machines that we haven't even looked at. And so we now have a couple others, so we can see what's all going on there. All right, I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. I really wanted to show you all this cool machinery and the pipes and all that kind of transfer node stuff, and a little bit of progression on the chicken progression. That's not so bad. So yeah, you know, we didn't do a bunch of adventuring, but we're going to do that next time. We're going to go digging and see what's above us, even even higher than we have before, because I know at some point we're going to have to relocate, and it's going to be a tough decisions in terms of what we have to take, need to take, want to take, and slowly start making our way up top, because as we say, eventually we're going to have to get to the top of this chunk, and it'll take us to the end chunk, which will then probably begin this whole digging again and finish off some of these quests. I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, please leave a like. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. I'd love to have you on board. And look forward to seeing you again when we do another episode of Stoneblock 2. Bye, everyone.